Miau und willkommen zurück zu Let's Play. Nein, nein, nein. Letztes Mal haben wir erfahren, was hier vor 9 Jahren genau los war. Und wir werden das jetzt unlocken. Und der Verdacht bestätigt sich meiner Meinung nach immer weiter, dass June Zero ist. Weil jetzt schon der zweite tatsächliche Augenzeuge bestätigt hat, dass die da gestorben ist. Und die haben ja sogar einen Körper gefunden, scheinbar. Junpei, look! It's unlocked! Yeah. Now we can go back to the library. Ich find's aber trotzdem immer noch verwirrend, dass die nicht auf der Liste der entführten Kinder gestanden hat und sowas. Und auch nicht in den Zeitungsartikeln. Hurry up, Junpei, we don't have time. Let's go! Wir müssen. Los, alright, let's go. Wir müssen so oder so jetzt los. Wir haben echt keine Zeit mehr, das Schiff sinkt. You found it. Eigentlich haben wir auch dafür keine Zeit. Wir haben, das Schiff sinkt. Wir haben Probleme.
Huh. I think the shaking stopped.
It would seem so, but we are yet to be out of danger. You're right. Let's hurry.
Ich dachte...
This exit needs the Uranus card too.
Aber ich dachte, Zero will uns gar nicht wirklich umbringen.
Hey, Junpei.
Yeah, I know. All right, it's open. Let's go.
Ich dachte, Zero wollte nur Ace und seine Leute umbringen.
Okay, Neptune Key, let's see if you work. Yes! Oh, I think it unlocked.
Da ist der Incinerator.
It says incinerator, so this is the incinerator.
This is the first time I've seen it from this side, but yeah, I think so.
Then there ought to be a lever near the door. Yeah, right here. Pull that and the door should open. Got it.
Okay. Und wir haben auch unsere Armbänder, sodass wir da durchgehen können.
Let's go.
What the hell is going on?
Warum sind die hier?
What's wrong? Are you okay?
Junpei, you came to get me.
Of course I did. I made a promise.
Ace ist nicht hier. Hat Ace sich befreit?
I'm so glad you're here. So glad.
Hey, what happened to you?
I'm fine. I just fainted. I wasn't feeling very good.
Aber Santa ist auch hier. Das heißt, wo ist Ace? Und wo ist Lotus?
I'm feeling a lot better now, though.
Are you sure?
Yes. I just need to rest a little longer. I'm sure I'll be fine.
Und was hat das mit ihren ständigen Fieberattacken auf sich? Hat sie eine gespaltene Persönlichkeit oder wie?
You shouldn't worry about me.
Santa.
Hey, where is it? Where's the gun? You hide it somewhere?
I don't have it. I got sucker punched and they took the gun.
They, also Lotus und Ace.
What? Who took it?
What? Isn't that obvious?
Die beiden, die jetzt nicht hier sind.
I took the gun.
Ace.
Guck mal, an dieser Stelle waren wir doch schon mal auf einer anderen Zeitlinie.
Just what the hell do you think you're doing, Ace? Or maybe I ought to say Gentaro Hongo, CEO of Cradle Pharmaceuticals?
You have me at a disadvantage. And I don't like that. You know me, but I don't know you.
Doch, eigentlich schon, aber du erkennst dein Gesicht nicht.
Do you have any idea how much I've suffered? Can you even begin to understand my pain?
The pain of prosopagnosia, right?
Another irritating insect. And how do you know that?
Von einer anderen Zeitlinie.
Good question.
No matter. If you don't want to answer, it makes no difference to me. This is a waste of time anyway. It's time for me to go. First is 1. Give me your hand. 8.
Okay. Willst du jetzt das Zero-Armband benutzen? Das funktioniert nur leider nicht.
And with this, 9.
The ninth man.
Ach so, doch,
Kubota's
stimmt.
bracelet.
Das geht natürlich.
I believe I've won this game. I've had quite a time playing with you. I must thank Zero, I suppose.
Wait, what? Ace doesn't know who Zero is. What the hell are you planning, Santa?
At any rate, this game ends now. I will escape, and the rest of you will have a slightly less pleasant ending.
Also, Junpei verdächtigt immer noch Santa, aber er stellt sich immer noch nicht die Frage, wer June wirklich ist, wenn Akane damals gestorben ist. Beziehungsweise er stellt sich die Frage, aber er drängt die so in den Hintergrund. Vielleicht ist das gar nicht mal so unwichtig.
I suggest you enjoy your final moments. Goodbye. Wait! What? Why isn't it opening?
Weil Guy 9 überhaupt nicht, weil der Ninth Man überhaupt nicht 9 hatte als Band.
One more time. Now open!
Funktioniert nicht.
No! What is this? Why? That digital route should be 9! It has to be 9! Then why? Why isn't it opening?
Weil es nicht 9 ist.
Now! No! Oh.
Oh, that was close. Too close. Thank you, Seven.
Don't mention it. Just one punch ain't enough for this piece of shit. After what he did 9 years ago, I ought to rip him to pieces.
Ja.
But if a suspect can't talk, they ain't much good. Once he's locked up in a cell, we're gonna have a little chat.
9 years ago? Then you must be...
Ja, der Cop, der die Kinder hier befreit hat.
Yeah, you finally figured it out, dumbass.
Ace, you killed Kubota, Nijisaki, and Musashido, didn't you?
Wait, Nijisaki?
Ja, der als Snake verkleidet war.
Oh, right. You don't know yet. All right. We'll just go through them in order then. Let's start off with Kubota. You talked to Kubota and managed to convince him to go into door 5 alone.
Ja, das hat er auf einer anderen Zeitlinie sogar schon zugegeben. Aber von dem Captain hat er nichts gesagt.
You killed him without making it look like you killed him. The way I figure it, you had 4 motives. 1. In the nonary game, the number 9 is dangerous.
Ja.
Whoever had the 9 bracelet could join whatever team they wanted. Adding 9 to any number doesn't change the digital route. Which means that number 9 could do whatever they wanted. You wanted to remove that threat as soon as possible. 2. You wanted the number 9 bracelet for yourself, so that you could make use of its power. In fact, you did use it in the murder of Nijisaki. 3. Even if his number hadn't been 9, Kubota was a problem.
Weil er alles wusste.
He knew your past. He knew what had happened 9 years before. You needed to silence him before he told anyone. 4. But last, and perhaps the most disturbing, you used Kubota as a test. You wanted to know how serious this nonary game was. Was it truly life or death or simply a harmless prank?
Genau das hat Ace uns in einem anderen Zeitstrahl selbst so gesagt.
You convinced him to break the rules so you could see what would happen.
Ich bin jetzt aber darauf gespannt, wie du erklärst, dass er den Captain umgebracht haben soll.
That was why you killed Kubota. But he was only the first. Next was Nijisaki. While everyone was off looking for the missing parts for the Reds, you ran into Nijisaki near the big hospital room. However, because of your prosopagnosia, you didn't realize he was Nijisaki, chiefly because, when you met him, he was dressed like Snake. That was why you thought Nijisaki was Snake.
No, that's not... That was Nijisaki?
Ja.
Why? How did...
I'll get to that. Anyway, you thought he was Snake.
Und deswegen hast du ihn getötet.
Snake was one of the kids in your experiment 9 years ago. You remembered him because he was the blind kid, but his presence made you think. Snake was one of my subjects 9 years ago. He probably hates me. But if that's true, why isn't he saying anything? Is he keeping quiet because he can't see? Or perhaps he's working with Zero to get revenge on me. Whatever the reason, anyone who knows my past is a threat. Before he tries anything, I need to get rid of him.
Richtig.
That was when you decided you had to kill him. The murder weapon was Kubota's bracelet. You just waved it over the red. Verified your own number and then grabbed Nijisaki's arm and forced it over the scanner panel.
Aber warum hatte Nijis... Okay, stimmt. Kann sein, dass Zero einfach das Bracelet von Snake ihm gegeben hat.
Then, when the door opened, you kicked him in. 9 seconds later, the door closed.
Oder er hatte einfach ein zweites Armband mit einer Nummer
And then
2.
81 seconds passed. And poor Nijisaki was dead.
Jetzt bin ich aber gespannt, wie Cap. Jetzt sag mal was über Captain.
And you mean to say Snake is still alive?
Ja, der steht doch hier direkt neben dir.
Sorry to disappoint you, but I'm as good as new. Thank you for killing the wrong man. But I can't say I like knowing that you wanted me dead. Although, to be honest, even if you hadn't tried to kill me, I would still hate you very much.
Well, I wouldn't blame you.
Last but not least, let's talk about Musashido's death. When Clover and I were investigating the chart room, you came over to talk to me.
Ja.
Do you remember what you said?
Oh, a pocket watch. Might I take a look at it?
I handed it to you, and you left the room. You had been in charge of the Nonary project. Of course, you would have known the solution to every puzzle, which would mean that you also knew how to get out of the wheelhouse.
Ja, aber guck mal, das mit der Pocket Watch, das fand ich jetzt auch nicht so unglaublich schwierig. Ne, das Rätsel, das hab ich in meinem Kopf drinne auch schon gelöst gehabt.
All you had to do was place the watch in the indentation on the door to unlock it. With the door open, you could enter the captain's quarters. Musashido was there. Conveniently placed next to him was an axe that practically begged you to kill him with it. You picked up that axe and buried the blade deep in the other man's chest. One blow was all it took.
Ja, aber Ace wusste doch gar nicht, dass das der ist, weil der ganz andere Kleidung anhatte. Er dachte vielleicht, das wäre wirklich Zero.
And then you returned to the chart room as if nothing had happened.
There was something I wanted to speak with you about, Junpei. Could you come with me for a moment?
I had no reason to say no, so I followed you to the wheelhouse. When we stepped inside, remember how you slipped your hand into my vest? You pulled out a piece of paper, the one I used to cheat during the vote. But that wasn't really what you were after.
Ja, jetzt müsste eigentlich jemand anderes sagen, was, du hast gecheatet?
Your true purpose had been to slip the watch into my pocket. It wasn't a very good plan. Had way too many holes, and someone saying the wrong thing could have brought it all down around you. You must have been desperate. But what made you willing to risk it all to do it? Ace, Musashido's murder is the only one I don't understand. You obviously did it.
But because of this.
Oh.
What's with the paper?
Just read it.
Let's see. Number 1, there are 2 ways you might survive this ordeal. The first is to win the Nonary game. The second is for you to confess your sins of 9 years past. I have prepared a camera in the captain's quarters. The images captured by that camera will be streamed through a satellite and distributed across the world. Simply look into the camera and repent.
Okay, das haben die alle bekommen, die da drin waren in dem Nonary Game, beziehungsweise der Captain hat das gekriegt und sollte gestehen, und das hat Ace nicht gefallen.
Once you have confessed everything, I will release you from this ship. To make your confession more credible, I have left you a witness in the captain's quarters. Perhaps he will confess with you. The decision is yours. Do as you please. 0.
Oder das hat Ace bekommen, diese Notiz.
When I awoke in that room on D-Deck, I found that in my pocket. That was why I chose door 1 when we voted. If I went through that door, I knew I could get to the captain's quarters. As you said, I knew how to enter the wheelhouse. My plan was to find the pocket watch before anyone else. If I could, then my alibi would be set. At least, that was the plan. Unfortunately for me, you got to it first. That sleight of hand was the best I could manage on short notice.
You meant to kill him from the beginning then? Musashido, I mean.
Ja, er wollte von Anfang an nicht gestehen.
I only knew Musashido was the witness after I reached the captain's quarters. I asked him, and he answered. He seemed groggy. Perhaps he had only just awoken from sedation. I suppose Nijisaki was in much the same state. He seemed confused and disoriented when I encountered him. But yes, you are correct. I intended to kill him from the beginning, even though I didn't know who he was. I proceeded to the captain's quarters in order to remove this so-called witness.
Ja, okay.
Ace, you figured it out, haven't you? You were being manipulated.
Yes, so it would seem.
Zero wollte die ganze Zeit nur, dass er seine eigenen Freunde umbringt da.
I was little more than a puppet, in many ways. Everywhere I went, everything was already prepared. The Reds in the large hospital room were dismantled. Nijisaki was dressed like Snake. There was an axe in the captain's quarters. Musashido was delirious from the anesthetic, so he couldn't fight back. Nijisaki as well. In retrospect, I can't understand how I could have fallen into such a simple trap. But yes, this was a trap. It was Zero's trap. And I fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. I did everything he wanted me to do.
Yeah. By manipulating you, Zero was able to kill 3 people and keep the blood off his own hands.
Ja, und du bist am Ende der Schuldige, den er dafür ins Gefängnis bringen kann oder so.
All of this was revenge for what happened 9 years ago. That's why this nonary game happened. Am I right, Santa?
Huh? What the hell are you talking about? I don't know any...
Ain't no point trying to play dumb anymore, Santa. Actually, I guess I should call you Aoi Kurashiki, huh? My memory came back to me, kid. You're Aoi Kurashiki, no doubt about it. Never thought I'd be back in this room talking to you. But hey, I guess this was all part of your plan, right? After all, the person who planned the nonary game this time around was Zero, and Zero's you.
Looks like you really do have your memories back, huh? Well, I guess there's no point in hiding it then, huh? Yeah, you got me. I'm Aoi Kurashiki.
Aber er ist nicht Zero.
I was one of the kids in the nonary game 9 years ago.
Oder er und June sind zusammen, Zero.
I made it out. So did Snake over there. But there's one thing... No, I guess there's 2 things you got wrong. Number 1, I ain't Zero.
Okay.
What?
Wait, what?
Sure, I was helping Zero out, but I'm really more of an assistant, like a secretary.
Also wirklich, er arbeitet mit June zusammen. Okay.
But an assistant's only an assistant. I didn't come up with all this. All I did was follow Zero's orders.
Then, if you're not Zero, who is?
June.
Calm down there, Junpei. Didn't I say 2 things? You made one more mistake. Junpei, you just said all of this was revenge for what happened 9 years ago.
Das hier...
That's why this nonary game happened. But that's not it. Revenge isn't the only purpose. There's another reason you guys were playing the nonary game. To save someone.
Save someone?
Right. You were brought here to help my sister.
Akane.
To save Akane.
What the hell are you talking about?
Es geht um diese ganze Zeitreisegeschichte, ne?
Akane Kurashiki died 9 years ago in this room. I was there. I saw...
Nein, sie ist genau hier.
What? What the hell? Where is she? Where's Akane Kurashiki? Ugh! Oh, my head! My head, it feels like it's gonna pop.
Das Ganze hier war dafür da, damit das Bewusstsein hier irgendwie zurückkommen konnte nach vor 9 Jahren oder so.
7! What the hell is going on?
I don't know. I just... Oh! I swear to God, my head feels like it's about to explode!
What was the Nonary Project? I'm sure you know already, but I'll tell you one more time. It was a project designed to test a particular phenomenon. And what was that phenomenon? For 2 organisms to communicate with one another in the absence of physical contact. The morphogenetic field theory. Could human beings use these invisible fields to exchange information? That was what this experiment was conducted to determine. There were 2 separate locations. One was the Gigantic, and the other was a building in Nevada called Building Q. The 9 children trapped in Building Q were faced with numerous puzzles, copies of identical ones on the Gigantic. They were told to send their answers into the morphic field set and transmit them to their brothers and sisters on the Gigantic. The transmitters were put in Building Q, and the receivers were put on the Gigantic. Each sibling pair was supposed to be split up, but...
Aber du und Akane waren beide hier, ne?
But there was a mistake. Akane was a transmitter.
Okay.
She should have been in Building Q. However,
Sie war hier.
for some reason, she was placed in the Gigantic with the receivers, like me. Perhaps she was mistaken for someone who was supposed to be in Group A. Whatever the case, Akane ended up on the Gigantic.
Genau, das war nämlich das, was ich mich auch schon gefragt habe. Warum waren die denn beide hier, wenn die Geschwister getrennt sein sollten? Aber scheinbar gab es einfach nur einen Fehler.
I think I've told you enough. You get it, don't you? I'm pretty sure you know where this is going, Junpei.
Where what is going?
Don't play dumb.
Wir haben ähnliche Erfahrungen gemacht. Auf einer anderen Zeitlinie haben wir das Passwort für den Sarg rausgefunden zum Beispiel, das wir jetzt auf dieser Zeitlinie benutzen konnten. Und genauso wollte er Informationen übertragen, glaube ich, sodass Akane gerettet werden konnte. Und das ist auch der Grund, warum June noch lebt.
You know things you shouldn't. Things you couldn't. How did you know Ace had prosopagnosia? How did you know why Ace wanted to kill Kubota and how Nijisaki was killed? Were you surprised when you found out Ace was Hongo?
Nein.
And what about the coffin Snake was trapped in? How the hell did you open it?
Well, that's...
He knew because I knew. Junpei was receiving information that I sent to him through the morphic field set. It's simple, really. How do I know the alternate futures then? Imagine a river that splits in two, like an upside-down Y. The river flows from the top to the bottom, from a single stream into two branches. Das ist im Prinzip unsere Flowchart, ne? Und wir haben diesen Fluss zwischendurch rückwärts fließen lassen, bevor wir hier wieder reingehen sind. It only flows in one direction, it can never flow backward. Information is the same way. It moves from past to the future, but never flows backward, aber irgendwie haben wir das gemacht. That's why people at the river's source in the past will never know about those downstream in the future. But the people downstream will never know about one another either. Information only flows along the path of the river. Yeah. But I am different. I can manipulate the morphic field set to pluck knowledge from the future. Warte mal. Wartet mal, soll das gerade heißen, Junpei ist Zero? Soll das heißen, Junpei ist Zero und hat das alles hier geplant, um Akane zu retten? Oder so? I can manipulate the morphic field to pluck knowledge from the future. I know what happens on either fork of the river, even though the people on either fork know nothing about one another. Now, who am I? I am I, the ninth letter of the alphabet. But I am also Zero. No, that's not true. I'm not really Zero, not yet. Perhaps you could say I am less than Zero. Was? Zero is my future. In 9 years, I will be Zero. Was? Where did she go? June. No, Akane. Where did you go?
Santa!
Voice Clover. Oh shit.
Freeze.
Santa's got the gun. Warte mal, Akane ist gar nicht hier. Akane wird erst noch zu Zero. Guess he picked it up when we weren't watching. Heißt das, Akane ist kurz vor ihrem Tod zurückgereist mit ihren Gedanken, beziehungsweise hat ihre Gedanken auf einen anderen Zeitstrahl übertragen und da überlebt? Guess he picked it up when we weren't watching. Looks like he's turned the tables on Ace, though. Wonder how he likes having a gun to his head.
Get up.
Sure isn't about to take that gun off him for a minute, is he? Ace isn't putting up any kind of fight. I mean, I don't think I would either, but he just looks drained. I guess he's going for the door, huh? He doesn't need to verify to go through that door, but...
Hey, what's your plan, Santa? What are you doing?
He can't get through any numbered door with just 2 people. What the hell is he thinking?
Didn't I tell you? I'm Santa Claus. It's time for me to go make a wish come true.
Der Wunsch deiner Schwester, dass ihr glücklich werdet. That's it? That's all he's gonna give us? What the hell does that even mean? Shit, they're out. Ja. Er hat doch seiner Schwester, das war der letzte Wunsch seiner Schwester, dass die für immer glücklich zusammen sein könnten. And now the gate is shut. Looks like the rest of us are stuck in here. They're all looking at me. At least Seven's headache is gone. He seems to be alright. Well, I guess there's no harm in trying. Let's see if this door still opens.
Damn. Well, it looks like this door isn't opening anytime soon.
Oh, you mean we're trapped?
So it would seem.
What the hell is Santa trying to do?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, what?
Have you considered where we are? There can really only be one thing Santa would do now.
Uns anzünden.
No. No, you can't be serious.
Oh, but he is. Shit, we've got to do something. Maybe we can still get out through door 9. There's the red. Yeah, alright, we can do this. I've just gotta... No, it's not gonna work. There's no way. The 5 of us can't open this door. 2 plus 4 plus 5 plus 7 plus 8 equals 26. Das ist 2 plus 6 ist 8. Is there any combination that will work?
Junpei, can I borrow your pen and notebook?
Sure, why not? I don't think I'm going to need them. Ever again. Well, she certainly looks purposeful. Was machst du denn gerade? Looks like she's writing equations. A lot of them. Huh? Oh man, she doesn't look very happy. What? Hey, no need to be ripping pages out like that. Jeez.
What the hell are you doing, Clover? Give me that!
Alright, at least 7 got it away from her. Maybe now I can get a look what she was writing. Let's see. Sie versucht alle Möglichkeiten. Wenn man einen auslässt, oder? Das heißt, wenn Lotus hier bleibt, wird es klappen.
What? And there's no other way?
Ja, Lotus muss hier bleiben. Looks like she figured it out, though. Man, this is just too cruel.
It's okay. Go.
Lotus.
Come on, you know we can't do that.
Oh, don't give me that. I'm sure you'd love to get rid of me.
God damn it, you idiot!
Whoa, where the hell did that come from? Looks like she expected that about as much as I did.
Without, if you're not... Look, it'd be bad, alright?
Ich dachte, ihr mögt euch nicht. For a cop, he sure doesn't have much confidence.
Bad?
Yeah, if there weren't assholes like you around, I'd be out of a job.
Uh-huh.
Look, I'm just not leaving you behind, alright? End of story.
Die sind einfach beide so Zundere zueinander, ne?
7.
He's right. I'm not leaving you either.
Me too.
You didn't honestly think I'd abandon you, did you?
You're all idiots.
Act as tough as you want, Lotus. We can all see you're about to cry.
That being said, however...
Ja, das kannst du aber nur sehen, Junpei, wenn du auch ins Gesicht guckst.
However...
I doubt we would be able to open the door anyway, even if we were to leave Lotus behind.
Ja, aber wir könnten Lotus den Arm abschneiden und dann durchgehen.
Huh? Why?
I trust you remember what happened to Ace? I couldn't, see exactly what happened, but I was able to guess what he was attempting to do earlier, at the red.
Oh, yeah.
No! What is this? The digital root should be 9! It has to be 9!
Ja, ist es aber nicht, weil irgendeins von den Dingern nicht richtig funktioniert.
Then why? Why isn't it opening?
Just to see, why don't we give it a shot?
Give it a shot.
Yes, that is what I said.
Okay. Funktioniert aber nicht.
You were right.
It ain't opening.
But it did open 9 years ago. The digital root was 9 then, I'm sure of it.
You think maybe they changed the settings?
Perhaps.
Shit. If we can't get through the door, we can't get out. Probiert doch einfach mal, euch alle einzuscannen. The walls are way too high. There's no way in hell we could get to that hole 7 popped out of 9 years ago. All we can do is stand here and stare at this door with a 9 on it. I guess this is it. This is the end. Wir sterben doch hier jetzt nicht wirklich einfach. I was watching. I had watched to everything that was reflected in his eyes. I was listening. Every sound that vibrated in his eardrums, I heard. Smell, taste, touch. I felt everything he felt. Heißt das, June ist in unserem Körper, also der Geist von June ist in uns drin oder so? I knew everything about him. What he was thinking, what he was feeling, what he was sensing. All of his feelings and worries and fears became mine. Oder soll das heißen, dass ich, also der Spieler, Zero ist? My mind, my consciousness was inside of him. Through the morphic field set, we were resonant, and we were as one. I was him, and at the same time I was an observer. Heißt das, Junpei wird ferngesteuert? It started with a tremendous noise like a clap of thunder. That was approximately 9 hours ago. A bomb had gone off on the ship where we were on. That was when my resonance with him began. My resonance even melted into him and we became one, inside of Junpei. Somehow I found myself in Junpei's mind 9 years in the future. But I didn't lose myself. I was living in 2 realities at once. One was the present and the other was the future. Perhaps you can think of it as 2 movies showing the same screen at the same time. Eventually it becomes difficult to separate them and determine which movie is which. Soll heißen, sie hat ihren Verstand in die Zukunft geschickt und ist jetzt in Junpei drin. And however, if I concentrated, I was able to focus on one or the other. That was why I was able to grasp what was happening in front of me. Und deswegen hat die auch immer so Fieberattacken gekriegt, weil sie zurückgefallen ist in, da steht auch gerade Arkane Vision. Okay. Weil sie zurückgefallen ist in das, in die Vergangenheit.
Come on, over here!
That was my brother Aoi. He was yelling. I followed him. Around me were 7 other children. They all looked like they were about my age. Da waren 7 andere, das heißt, da waren nur 8. Insgesamt.
Come on, hurry up!
We ran down a long straight hallway and burst into the large hospital room. Everyone was arguing. 2 of the boys got in a fist fight. A girl watching them began to cry. I wanna go home, she cried. I wanna go home. Another girl slapped the crying girl and glared down at her. It has been 2 hours since the nonary game began. Da müsste eine von Lotus Töchtern ja auch mit dabei sein, ne? We were starting to fall apart. But just when all hope seemed lost, Light started talking. He was blind. 9 years later we would call him Snake. Okay, damals hieß er Light. Okay.
Hello? Everyone? Could you come over here for a moment?
He was older than most of us and his voice had authority and dignity. The fights died down and we gathered around him.
I have a little sister. She is very important to me.
Lotus.
Right now, she is over in Building Q and is desperately trying to send information over to me.
Und so sollte es euch eigentlich allen gehen, bis auf Arkane und Aoi.
Her name is Clover, and today is her 9th birthday.
Oh mein Gott, das ist auch noch an ihrem Geburtstag gewesen. An ihrem 9. vor allem. As he spoke, he pulled something from his pocket. And he handed where 9 4-leaf and in his hands were 9 4-leaf clovers. Warte mal, hat er gerade gesagt, ihr Name ist Clover? Heißt es, ihr richtiger Name ist tatsächlich Clover?
I was going to give these to her as a birthday present. I was outside picking them when I was abducted. I'm sure I've already told you, but I am blind. For a man who can't see, collecting 9 of a very specific plant is, well, it is difficult. But my sister means a great deal to me. And I hope that these would show her how much I cared for her. Since it's her 9th birthday, I thought 9 4-leaf clovers would be appropriate. Every one of you has a brother or a sister in Building Q with Clover.
Nein. Die beiden hier nicht.
For their sake, we have to survive. We have to get off this ship. Do you understand? If we're going to do that, there are 3 things you have to remember. We need trust and love, and we have to have faith in one another. If we can take all 3 of those to heart, then I promise that good luck will come our way. Did you know that the leaves on the 4-leaf clover mean faith, trust, love, and luck?
Oh mein Gott, kann es sein, dass Santa deswegen so sehr die Zahl 4 hasst? Weil er so viel Hoffnung in dieses Kleeblatt gesteckt hat und dann ist Akane trotzdem gestorben?
Those words are leaf words. So if you believe what I've told you, and you understand, then I want you each to have one of these. They're a promise between friends.
He gave a clover to each of us. I took one too. Eventually, he was left with only a single 4-leaf clover. He had one last thing to say.
Don't ever forget. So long as you have that, we will always be connected. Do you understand?
When he finished, the tension of only a few minutes before was gone. Was? The tension of only a few minutes before was gone. We were calm. After that, we ran around the ship for a while longer and opened several of the numbered doors until we finally found a door with the number 9 on it. Guck mal, der sah damals genauso aus wie jetzt, der Raum. In fact, there were 2 doors with 9 on them, and we found them in the chapel. We split into 2 groups and walked through the doors. Dann sind sie da angekommen. Wenn das jetzt die Akane Vision ist, sieht man dann jetzt auch, was passiert ist, nachdem der Countdown abgelaufen war? Before long, we all found ourselves in a room with a ceiling that looked like an upside-down funnel. For some reason, this room had another number 9, but this time it was only 1. But if there was only 1 door, that meant only 5 people could escape.
What are we gonna do? There aren't any other doors.
We began to panic. Then, as if things had not gotten bad enough already. Okay, der wollte... Das heißt, Ace hat das hier verschlossen und wollte tatsächlich alle umbringen, die es nicht durch die Tür schaffen.
Warning. Emergency incineration command has been acknowledged. Automatic incineration will take place in 18 minutes. Please evacuate the incinerator immediately. Repeat. Emergency
Und
incineration
dann
has been acknowledged.
Dann kam aber zum Glück Seven rein.
What's happening? What did that thing say? That didn't sound good.
My brother Aoi swallowed hard and answered.
I think it means this room is gonna burn.
Burn!
The plaque on the door says incinerator, and that voice said that the incineration is about to start. And incinerate means to burn.
No! Help me!
Abject terror filled the room as everyone began to scream and cry. Every pair of eyes were filled with despair. Despair! Then, high up on the wall, a door opened and a man appeared. He was a huge, frightening mountain of a man as large as a bear. 9 years later, we would call him Seven.
Don't worry, kids. I'm not your enemy. I'm one of the good guys. I'm a detective. I'm here to rescue you.
Genau das haben wir ja schon mal aus seiner Perspektive gesehen, quasi. The rest happened just like Seven had said it did. The 4 of us who had stayed behind were saved by 7. We crawled through the vent away from the incinerator and slid down into the hall. We came out on the other side of door 9. On the wall opposite of the door was a set of double doors. Okay. We went through those and began to run up the spiral stairs. As we ran, I led the way. Warte mal, du warst vorne. Behind me were Nona and my brother Aoi, Snake and Seven. Nona war die Tochter von Lotus, ne? The other children, the ones that were gone through ne? The ones who had gone through door 9 before us were up ahead. I could hear them cheering each other on. We ran and ran and ran. We leapt across as many stairs as we could and kept running. The stairs spiraled upward like a tornado. Eventually I pulled ahead of the rest. Perhaps Nona had slowed them down. I didn't want to lose them, so I slowed down as well. I didn't stop, but I glanced over my shoulder from time to time to see if they had caught up. That was when I realized...
No, where is it? Did I drop Junpei's present?
Oh, I knew I had it with me when we passed through the vent. Then I had dropped it as we slid out. Deswegen bist du zurückgegangen, weil du ein Geschenk für Junpei verloren hast. I had to go back, I had to. But I knew I couldn't tell the others. They would stop me, I was sure of that. I didn't stop to think, I simply moved. I ran into the central hall, the room that connected to all the other areas of the ship. I hid in the shadows, and moments later I felt a rush of wind as they ran past me up the staircase. Du bist also absichtlich zurückgeblieben. I waited until they were out of sight and then ran. I moved as quietly as I could down and down and down. Finally, I reached the bottom deck. I ran into the hallway and looked around frantically.
There it is!
It was just where I thought it would be, sitting under the opening of the vent. I ran over and snatched it from the floor, but as I ran back toward the stairs and freedom, there came Ace.